So this week's video, I find it pretty apparent that with any woman or female that I work with, whether it be a client or a girlfriend or whatever, that when it comes to weight loss on the scale, it isn't telling them that they're losing weight, that it stresses them out, right? So what I want to do is kind of clear up some issues and some reasons why you need to stop stressing. I completely understand why. When you're doing everything you can and you're eating all the right things and you're training how you're meant to be, and you jump on the scale at the end of the week or midweek or every day or whatever, and it's going like this, obviously it's going to be a mental battle that you're going to find hard to get through. So I'm just going to do a quick video to try and cover a few things, nice and quick, trying to kind of enlighten you on why you need to stop stressing. So this video is going to be a bit weird for some people to watch, with it being a lad being talking about it. So I want to talk about your menstrual cycle and your period basically. So as a woman it's a bit more difficult than it is for a lad. And what I've done here is I've drew up a little thing, a little graph for you to kind of show and give you a visual representation of your hormones across this 28-day period. So I've spent a bit of time over the past few days or whatever kind of researching it because I wanted to basically. Obviously knowing and kind of trying to sympathise with lasses when it comes to this area, I kind of made it my priority over the past 48 hours or so to kind of clue myself up on it and to hopefully kind of, one, help a few of you out, and two, keep you off my back. So what this shows is age of 28-day period, from day 1 to day 28 typically. In the middle it's day 14, which is ovulation phase. Yeah, first 5 days we all know what happens here, period. Yeah, from day 1 to 14 we also have a phase which is called the follicular phase, and from day 14 to 28 we have the luteal phase, which is over here. So we all know that in this time frame that hormones for women are all over the place, but we might not know what hormones we're dealing with. So the two hormones that I want you to think about are estrogen and progesterone, which are represented on this graph as estrogen here, which is this straight solid line, and progesterone, which is this dotted line here. So there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, is that weight loss in this period is not linear. So your weight loss on a scale isn't going to look like this. It's not going to go down, 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 because your body is at a completely different stage and a completely different makeup in regards to hormonal balance and all that kind of thing across this 28-day period. So it's not fair for you to look at the scale week by week and think or expect it to go down like this, because there's too many things going on to kind of let that happen. So what we need to do is to kind of pinpoint fat loss and food intake across this period. So across these first 14 days what you're going to experience is a rise in estrogen, which basically means in this period you're going to feel pretty strong, you're going to feel pretty good, you're going to feel you're going to feel like the best you're going to possibly feel across this 14-day period. At a peak at the top here, 14 days, this is when you're going to feel, it's probably going to, just before 14 days maybe, you're going to start to feel the best you're going to feel. You're going to be in the gym, you're going to feel like you want to be there, you're going to be lifting the heaviest weight you can and all that kind of thing. This is due to insulin sensitivity. So in the first 14 days you're going to handle carbohydrates a lot better than you would in the last 14 days. So across this period, if you feel comfortable enough to manipulate your own diet, what I want to suggest you do is keep protein at a moderate level, as you usually would, because protein stays fairly regular throughout. You're going to increase carbs slightly, not from shit foods by the way, and you're going to keep fat loss to a minimum so that we can remain in a deficit, just to utilise the fuel that you're putting in. But on a basic level, all you need to know at this 14-day period, you're going to feel pretty good So you're going to handle food a lot better, yeah. However, in this 14-day period here, you are also going to hold water. So across this 14-day period here, hold water, yeah. So if you're holding water, that means that the scales aren't going to be a true reflection of how lean you are. So for example, if you're say 120 pounds at this bottom weight right here, day one, you might feel pretty good and you might feel like you're putting all the maximum amount of effort in these first 14 days. But once you reach this period, you're holding a little bit of water, you might be 122 pounds, which is from a straight off. And I know it's going to send your head west. You're going to think, well, I've done everything I can, I've done everything necessary, but the scales isn't telling me so, right? So basically, although we're going to feel our best, and we think that because of that, come 14 days time or whatever, at the end of the week we're going to be absolutely banging, we're going to jump on the scales and we're going to lose loads of weight. It's actually the opposite, yeah? From here, this is where shit goes south. For men and for women, right? Estrogen starts to decrease. Estrogen starts to decrease as it comes down here, and progesterone starts to increase, right? So here, this is when metabolism speeds up. So in theory, obviously, if metabolism speeds up, which means we require more food, which hence why you get the cravings, and you're going to want to eat everything in sight. You're going to feel like shit. But this is when you need to consider that you can't do that. In this period, around here, this period is when your body is primed for burning fat. Okay? So, unfortunately, because you're a woman, or because you're a female, and you have to go through this, no matter how shit you feel, how hungry you are, how pissed off you are, this is when you need to control what you eat. Because, oppositely to before, how insulin sensitivity was high, oppositely, this is where insulin sensitivity is low. So you aren't going to handle carbs good here, right? So if you go eating 500 extra calories a day across this phase as you're leading up to your period or whatever, or while you're on your period, that food's going to be stored, and it ain't going to be stored as energy or used as energy. It's going to be stored as excess fat, right? Take as long as you need to get your head around this, right? In this phase when you feel more shit, this is your body telling you that it wants to lose more fat, it wants to burn more fat, right? So, as bad as it sounds, and as much as you want to punch me through the screen and say shut up, at this point, this is the part where you've got to try your best to get to the gym, eat less from carbs anyway, possibly increase cardio a little bit, and once you come back round to this start phase here, after the 28-day cycle, this is when the weight is going to have changed. So from here, in a 4-week period from here to here, weight loss is going to be like this, right? So from there to there, don't stress. But what I want to suggest you want to do is weigh yourself in a 4-week period. So I hope that makes sense. I've rubbed that out, and I've done a generic overview here for you. So, first 14 days, right, you're going to feel pretty good, you're going to feel pretty strong, yeah? So you're going to handle carbs well in this phase, and this is when you want to train heavy. So you're going to train to your max, because you're feeling good, the energy's good, all that kind of thing, so you're going to be able to put maximum amount of effort into your sessions at this part of the phase, at this phase. However, the scales aren't going to reflect your weight loss at this stage because you're going to be holding water due to insulin sensitivity, right? However, don't let that get to your head. Stick with it, train hard through this phase. Once you start to come down the other end, this is when you're going to start to feel shit, right? Here, you don't have to train to your absolute maximum. So when you're training with heavy load for the first phase, I'd maybe suggest reducing the load slightly, because you're not going to be able to reach those numbers that you've been able to reach in the past few weeks. So possibly maybe increase volume rather than load at this stage. Maybe do a few more sets, a few more reps for a lighter load. Doesn't mean completely back off, but reduce it a little bit, yeah. As well as that, potentially need to up cardio, because this is when your body is ready for burning fat at its highest. So if you can do a little bit extra cardio for these 2 weeks, take the load, reduce the load from your training. You might have a little bit more energy in this phase due to the decreased load. Put that extra energy into a few steps on the treadmill, on the bike, whatever. And in this phase, we all know that you're going to want to sit on the sofa in your pajamas, eating as much pizza and ice cream as you possibly can. And I really do feel sorry for anyone that has to go through this, but this is the part where you have to resist it. This is the part where you're going to have to get up off the sofa, tell yourself that you want to make these differences, and this is going to be the hard part, but it's all going to be worth it in the end. So resist carbs at this point, reduce training intensity in terms of weight, but possibly increase volume, increase cardio, and just keep battling on through this. So all in all, next time you jump on the scale and it doesn't reflect the amount of intensity and effort you've put into your sessions across that week, just consider what kind of what part of your menstrual cycle you're in. Hopefully this kind of clears up a few things and kind of clears your heads and makes it a little bit easier to understand, and takes a little bit of stress and anxiety in some ways off your shoulders. Feel free to leave me a message and like it, or ask any questions you can, and I'll answer to the best of my ability.